Hello everybody. So today is Monday, the international official day to start a new diet or go to the gym, right?
Yes.
Are you familiar with this cycle?
Of course.
And often this sort of resolution is not sustainable. So if you are familiar with the Monday solutions or Monday new resolutions, you are also familiar with the lack of consistency that this sort of plan have very often in our lives. So today we are going to talk about why it doesn't work, but I also present some solutions. And I'm not going to do it by myself. I have a very dear friend here, Tatiana Azevedo. Hi, Tati.
Hi.
Hi. Tatiana is a psychologist with 18 years experience on the field. We met over 10 years ago by the time I used to live in UK. She's still there in London. Now I'm here in California. And she's going to share some insights and solutions with us because willpower is overrated. It's not just about willpower. It's not just about food. You were not failing because you're not strong enough because you lack willpower, right, Tati? Do you agree with that?
I totally agree with that. So willpower is terribly overrated. Why is that? Because really, the behaviors, we don't eat just because we are hungry, do we? We eat because we are tired, because we are angry, because I eat because I'm cold. I discovered this, that, took me years and years and years to realize that I was eating a lot more food and a lot of, greasy food and sugar foods because I was cold, because I always cold in the UK. So, all I need is warmer clothes. It's not more food, So
yes, and we eat because we are sad, because we're happy. We eat to celebrate. We eat because of the cultural and social influences, and it's definitely not just when we are hungry. I agree with that.
Totally. And the problem with willpower, from the point of view of mental health and the psychological health, is that really the opposite of willpower is that you are a weak person, that you are a failure, that you are incapable, that you are lazy. So all these negative associations when you fail that plan and you blame yourself and you feel ashamed, this is really toxic for your self-esteem and for your self-love, and is the opposite of what we need to do. So thinking about willpower, just leave it aside. Say it's nothing to do with willpower. Try to remember this. It's nothing to do with willpower. There are so many other factors that influence our behavior. And we're going to talk a little bit about that and how to start to change these things, right? So the other thing that goes connected with that is this eating with no self-awareness, on the autopilot, eating over the computer or watching something on the YouTube or watching something on YouTube and on the computer working, doing 2 or 3 things at the same time, working at the same time you're eating, and what are you eating? You have no idea, just shoveling things down and, not even enjoying it. So the autopilot eating is another problem, isn't it? So we need to start to work towards something healthier, because this way you're going to eat a lot more, or you're going to eat foods that are not really right for you because you're not even in contact with how your body is reacting to that food, or even your own emotions are reacting to that food. So lack of self-awareness, lack of time to pause and time to think is not helpful. The other problem is when you go, off the rails and you try to fix on your own, you try to beat yourself up and say, tomorrow is going to be a new day. Tomorrow I'm going to be tough. Tomorrow I'm going to be like, go, you can do this, Of course, this is good as well. You want that, vibe of motivation and keep going, but don't do it alone. Trying to do it alone is not helpful. It's like you're going to the same old cycles of, judgment and shame and all these things. You're just going to fall back into your default mode. So trying to do alone, don't go alone.
It's a lot harder, right? I agree. Yes. It's a lot harder. Another interesting thing, important thing about the willpower that I have to mention is there are some physiological changes in our body that can make these lifestyle changes or diet a lot harder for some people. For example, some imbalances on the brain biochemistry, such as low levels of serotonin and dopamine, and some changes on the gut microbiome when you have, for example, yeast overgrowth.
Mm-hmm.
is well known to make sugar cravings get a lot
Mm-hmm.
worse, as
Mm-hmm.
much as the low serotonin levels, not to
Yes.
mention hormone imbalances. So for a person who have any of these imbalances, it's going to be a lot harder to
Yes.
implement changes or to stick with the plan than a person that doesn't have these issues going on. So
Of
again,
course.
it's not just willpower,
It's not to
right?
do with willpower. And
Yeah.
also, you mentioned, the cravings, stress levels, the high levels of cortisol we know is connected to the cravings for sugary and high fat, isn't it? So
Yes.
to
Yes. Yeah.
balance that stress level. So if you're constantly in a high level of stress, and I have been there, we have been there, I can say to Katia as well, we
Yeah.
both know how terrible that is. That, where does it come first? What do you tackle first, right? So high cortisol levels are also related to eating more sugary foods, and it's just
Or relying on drinking substances that might aggravate the situation, like
yes.
they need to load on caffeine through the day to keep up the
Mhm.
rhythm, and to
Mhm.
drink alcohol in the evening to cool down, right?
Mhm.
So this can aggravate the situation. But
Yes.
anyway, it's a lot more. I think the message is a lot more deep and complex than
Yes.
it appears to be, right?
Yes. And
Now
also it's
let's talk
very
about.
sorry. And it's very, very complex, as we just start to touch on certain points, just to bring a little bit of awareness to the things that are influencing our behavior. So it's willpower, as we said, is very, very small percentage, if anything. But I think also is remembering that it's very individual. Only each one of us has a very, very specific combination of our personality and our genetic factors and our culture and our environment, our families, our relationships. All these million of factors, they shape us in one particular person, right? So one size fits all is terrible, because it's not going to work for us, because we are very individual. So it's a learning, start to learn about ourselves more.
Yeah.
So
But now, despite the fact that the journey is very individual, do you believe we can implement change that
yes,
everybody can implement, that will fit to anyone's case to change the scenario?
of course, that's where we're going next. The
Where do we
next,
start?
we can start today. We can start, anytime this week. If you cannot start today, that's fine too. Sometimes we can't do it. But the things we're going to suggest today are very, very simple. They are free. You don't need to buy any books. You don't need to buy anything. It's just with yourself. So that is enough. Okay. The first tip is to create a timeline of your life, of your history, around your eating habits and your self-care, your lifestyle. Write everything down. What was it like for you as a child? What were the foods you liked to eat? What were the rules and the concepts around eating and caring for yourself and the exercise, all around you, all the families and the messages you received. It can go through your childhood, your teenage years, very, very difficult for teenagers today. And for us, for me anyway, in Brazil, growing up was very, very hard during my teenage years. Then young adults, go through the whole of your life and think about what were the habits. In this timeline, you try to put as much information as you can remember, how you felt, what was helpful, what was not helpful, what were your feelings around your self-image, your body image, what were the expectations of people around you, all these things. Try to start to bring everything into a shape so you can see it, because we cannot
And
change.
why this time? Yeah. So why is this timeline so important?
Because you are going to start to see the patterns and the issues that you faced. As I said, everybody is an individual. We have general trends in society, but how did you interact with those cultural issues that were happening around you? We are so different how we react to things. So you get in touch with your own history, and it's building that self-awareness. It's an exercise of self-awareness. And
Yeah.
as we discussed before, Katia, we cannot change what we don't know. If we are
Yeah.
living in autopilot, how can we change anything? we're expecting something from outside to change something that's happening inside of us.
We expect that our willpower that is not sustainable in long
So
term is going
who
to be
is
a
this
solution.
willpower guy? You know, I want this willpower to come. I'm just imagining like Incredible Hulk turning up and just changing everything for me, you know. I don't think so, right? We have to go inside. So the first point is start to get to know yourself. Start to really build a picture of how those things have been and where they started to go wrong, let's say. Could be very, very early. Or could be in a crisis later in life. I don't know. You have to find out where you're standing on those issues. And then the second point, I like this. This is almost like a detox of bad habits, you know. Do you want to talk about this one, Katia?
The pause is my favorite, you know. I try to do it as much as I can. So because we are very often in a rush in this autopilot mode, we need to learn how to pause. So the exercise is like this: before any food choice or any bite, any drink, you pause, you take a deep breath, and before you eat or make your choice, you ask yourself, is this food aligned to my plans? Is it aligned to my goals or not? Right? Or another way to ask that is, does this food feed health or disease?
I love that. I think.
And if you have some privacy or you're at home, you can even ask in a loud voice, because although it might sound a little bit crazy, our brain it kind of becomes more aware when you talk or when you write than when you just think. Right? So if you're alone or if you feel comfortable, if you have privacy, ask in loud voice, you know, does this food fit health or disease? Deep breath, pause, ask. And then see if you really want to eat that, or is an opportunity to become aware again. Okay, am I hungry? What I'm feeling? Do I want this? Do I not? Right? Get out of the autopilot mode.
That is so important, and it goes together with this building of the self-awareness, which is a very, very important tool for change. That is the one thing that we need to do, right? There is pretty much everything else will come from that. And then the third tip, that is my favorite one. If your favorite one is the number 2, my favorite is number 3, which is buddy up.
Yeah, a lot easier to do that with your friend, right? Why do it
a lot easier? And you know, we don't need a lot of people, but we need quality. We need even one person that you can really talk about your plan, what you want to do, what are the changes you want to make, and mostly is emotional support. Somebody can go and say, I'm desperate, I'm tired, I'm frustrated. It's about being able to be open about your emotions, and that person be able to listen to you and give you that space to really explore those feelings. We don't have much of this going on in our society, do we? It's really much do it. And this is the opposite. This is what's really missing, is that time to just be and to just allow yourself to feel what you need to feel, because feelings will come and go. But if you don't allow them to come up, they're not going to go anywhere. They're just going to be there. And really, we're going to be reacting the autopilot. So,
and that, I guess, works particularly well for the emotional eating, because sometimes we eat because we are lonely or are anxious or are tired. And just by talking to someone about that, the craving for food might go away just by talking.
Exactly. And we know that, you know, like the 12 steps programs and a lot of programs around addictions rely on exactly that system of calling somebody up. Before you do something that's not aligned with what you want to do, call somebody up, because really most times what we need is that understanding and that listening and the love of someone and the respect. So what we are hungry for most times is not going to be for food, it's going to be for other things. So if you start to build up this really this toolkit of other sources of support and nurturing and awareness, so you are at peace with yourself, your results are going to come, and they're going to be sustainable. They're not going to be a torture. They're not going to be hard to keep, because they'll be part of you and you want to do those things. So it's a much better place to be than
sounds great. What I like the most of these tips is that really anyone can do. and
Yes.
can start today, and they are free and accessible, and
Yes.
truly can make a significant difference in the long term.
Yes.
The motivation and the willpower can work as a kickstart, right?
Yes.
But it needs to be sustainable.
Needs to be
People
sustainable.
who really achieve changes and achieve goals in all different aspects of life, they do because they have consistency, they build habits.
Yes.
It's not because they feel every day motivated or
Yes.
because they have such a willpower. No.
Yes, because you know
So
those are not going to last. And also,
yeah,
it's more enjoyable when you're doing, because you have pleasure in what you're doing and you're loving yourself through this. So I would recommend to start to put these things in practice. And if people have any questions or want to make comments, we're more than happy to reply on the below the video and on our sites
yeah.
as well. And
Yeah. Leave your comments and your struggles or whatever you want to share,
mhm.
and subscribe here, because we will have this subject is so deep. We have a lot more to share with you. So stay tuned, because probably there will be more to come. Okay, right, Tati?
Right. Good luck to everybody.
Thank
And
you, and happy
we'll be
Monday.
back soon. Happy Monday.
Bye.
Bye.